right there. In this case, Allen wrench adjustable. You screw it in, gets a heavier trigger pull, back it out, it gets a lighter trigger pull. But that is a sear spring. And that sear spring will vary from model to model in some. In fact, most have no adjustment whatsoever. This particular one does. So we can control trigger pull weight by screwing the screw in or out. We pull the trigger bar is attached to it, it moves the trigger bar, which moves the sear, which drops the hammer. Now, when the gun is fired and the trigger is pulled, as we have here, and the gun cycles, you'll notice that there's a notch in the slide right here. And the trigger bar disconnector has a hump on it that lives in that notch. So when the gun is closed, ready to fire, the trigger bar rises up and engages in the sear. But when it's not closed, see, we don't have that engagement, do we? We've lost it. When it goes closed, it does engage. See it rise up? If it shouldn't close, it doesn't fire. You see that? Very, very simple, very, very basic, and used on an awful lot of semi-automatic pistols in the world today. I take the slide apart, we drive out this pin, drive out that pin, take out the extractor, and driving spring and firing pin. I've driven out the firing pin spring. Now the firing pin comes out with its, I've driven out the firing pin, and out comes the firing pin and its spring. The driving spring has this cap that holds it in place. We'll drive out that pin. Don't lose them. They're not hard to make if you can't get one, and on the old styles, of course, you won't get one because it's a solid plug with a hole drilled through it. This is the plug with a groove in it. These are available, is not. And they are not interchangeable because the pin on the old ones goes right to the center. See it push it out of the way. It retains it. And to test to see if the extractor hook isn't too far from the bolt face, and it needs to be 50 or 55 thousandths because the cartridge feeds up at a slight angle. If it's exactly 45 thousandths or 44 thousandths and you get a fat rim, it may not feed up underneath it. So about 50 to 55 depends on the exact gun. The hook of the extractor should be from the actual bolt face. Now put a cartridge on there. It's held by spring tension. That's good. We pull it straight forward. And does it slip off the left side? In other words, if I have it so far forward, the hook is so far forward or so far